button to George, ready button. Mr. Ready button to George, ready button.
Name's Roger Boaty. Mr. George Roger Boaty.
Well, of course it is, and just bear with me, my lovelies. We've already lost the internet once, and I think the problem might be, in part, that there's about 14 million... Oh, okay, that one's finished. I think there are a lot of videos sync into what's it called? iCloud. So I've just put that on pause, and I'm just trying to see if it... of course... I've had Sonia out and about today, of course, so I need to rejig you and make sure that you're correctly placed and unwonked. How does that feel for you? Let me have a look. Let me have a look. Let me... Oh, no, that won't do at all, will it? Goodness gracious me. What was I thinking? You want to go over there a bit, I think. How's that? How's that? How's that? I think that will probably do us. Maybe just, oh, have I? Oh gosh, that felt like an over wonk. Let me have a look. Oh no, that's spot on, is that? I'm very happy with that. Right then, here we go. Cover those up. A very good evening to you all. Welcome to Monday Night Live with me, coming live in your eyes and ears from Windy Bum here in the Peak District. Excuse me. And tonight I'm going to be with you until 11 o'clock. I'm not going through till midnight tonight because I am knackered. And I've got some things that I need to do. So welcome to another Monday Night Live. A little less frenetic than last Monday, where of course I rushed back from the South Coast, having bought a new car, or new to me car anyway, that was quite well known. And today has been a bit less frenetic, but I've done it again. Yep, I bought another new car, and again, it's a little well known. So, would anybody like to guess what car I've bought? And yeah, if anybody gets it right, I will say, jolly well done, you got it right. Right, who have I got? Joe, the lovely Joe Cox, good evening to you, and he hopes everyone is okay and well, which is a nice thing. Simon of Smashing Pistons is here and says, greetings people of Tinterwebs. Matt, aka Longman, aka _, aka the rather uneventful adventures of Stickman, says hello, which is quite a lot shorter than his various names, isn't it? How's everyone's Monday been, wonders Simon? And are you looking forward to your trip north? And that's directed to Joe, who is making the trip north sometime. Can't remember when. I think it might be in 2 weeks. Next Monday, Mustard and I will have the immense pleasure of the company of Fanny Freestyle's new owner. So that will be jolly exciting. So, how is your weekend? What have you got to tell me? What have you been up to? Some of you will know what I've been doing today, or some of it. It's been half successful, half unsuccessful today, but jolly enjoyable on the whole. I wasn't 20 minutes late at all, Matt. You're a dreadful man. Hello, lads and lassies. How are you, says Barry, a.k.a. that guy from SETI Alpha 5. Evening all, says Black Lines. Good evening to you. A retracted message. Oh, Joe's very much looking forward to his trip up north. That'll be, that's jolly good. Oh, and Joe is hoping that Mustard hasn't scribbled on Michael Jackson. Joe asks, why was the live set to start at 8:40? Because I forgot to do that bit. My bad, sorry. Flask wine, it's not. In my flask, darlings, it's too early for wine, you know the rules. In my flask, I'm still drinking this delicious, perfectly clear, red apple still spring water, sugar-free, which was, of course, a gift from the lovely Joseph Lloyd, who is a very nice man, actually. Very nice man indeed. And I can let you into a little secret. When I was driving with Mr. Lloyd, I felt incredibly safe. He is a very, very competent driver indeed. We had a long chat about that. Neil Gibbons is in our midst and say, hello all, hope you're well. Ben is with us. Hasn't Michael Jackson gone yet, asks Matt. Mustard will be able to charge storage fees on top of the sale price. No, Michael Jackson is going, I think it's a fortnight today. I could be wrong, but I think it's a fortnight today. So, oh yeah, things are moving all right. Which is why Mustard and I were out today desperately trying to buy some cars, because we've run out. We haven't got any, and we need some. And it didn't go well. And I was, we were both really hungry, and we had a very late lunch, and I ended up buying a car, but that's a personal car. And we didn't manage to buy any company cars today, sadly. But there's still a couple more we've got our eyes on. Hot mulled wine straight from the flasky, says Winslow Burdett. No, it's ice cold water, courtesy of Joseph Lloyd, and I thank him once again. Blurry, says Matt. Would you like to be wiped? Now, you've been in about, let's hide that because there's a clue there as to the new car. I'll give you a wipe. You've been in about 7 different cars today, and you've been in the caravan, and you've been all over the place, so maybe you need a bit of a wipe. There you go, take that, and party. Good evening all, says Adam, aka Pure Evil. You're on the bloody wonk now, aren't you? Or are you? No. Oh. I feel that you need a slight... Oh, now that felt good. That felt good to me. They call him Buddy Shit Peas because he shits peas. Now you are perfect. You can stay there for the week. I'm very, very happy with that. Oh, and on the way home, I did stop in the co-op in one of the villages, and I bought some potatoes and onions. So that's interesting, isn't it? Yes, Boaty, that's very interesting. What are you going to do with the potatoes and the onions? Well, I'm going to cook them and I'm going to eat them. There's a lot you can do with potato and onions, isn't there? I'm thinking maybe sausage and mash for lunch tomorrow. That's what I'm thinking. Quite right, Joe. You tell him. Michael Jackson will leave the yard when I'm free to go and get him, which is in a week or so. I do work 65 hours a week, plus in the middle of having a change of job career. Oh, gosh, you are a busy bee at the moment. Simon says, Boaty, you owe us a 2-hour live stream after the bollocks you've put out recently. What bollocks? What's the matter with you? What have I put out that's well, I mean, everything I put out is bollocks, but I haven't put anything out. I didn't put anything out last week, did I? For a whole week, I didn't put anything out at all, apart from the daily diaries. I'm sure I didn't. And then what have you had? You had Boaty's Noshes tonight, and you had the acquisition adventure last night. What are you complaining about? But I do, of course, apologise for all of my videos. Oh, we're guessing on the car. Streetwise, says Neil Gibbons. No. Another Rover 45, says Barry. No. Is this for yourself or the fleet, asks Barry? For me, personally. I wish I was as skint as Boaty. Another car. Well, buy another car and you would be as skint as me. Have you bought the car for yourself, or is it another Mustard and Boaty car? Well, it was kind of a Mustard and Boaty car, and now it's my car. Short suggestion from one of today's 70 trillion abominable acquisition of... Oh, yeah, the Ballad of Barry Shitpeas. Good shout, Ben. Yes, that is going to be a short. Possibly several shorts. They call him Barry Shitpeas because he shits peas. Good shout. Boaty, you should change your channel name. Also, Boaty, never use my new channel name. Cock. I said it right tonight, Simon. So please retract your cock. I called Smashing Pistons Smashing Pistons. Admittedly, I didn't earlier, but tonight I did. So I demand that you pull your cock back away from me. Barry says, I want to quit anytime someone says Barry Shitpeas. They call him Barry Shitpeas because he shits peas. Every time that name is said, we all have to sing that song. That is the new law. Oh, 2 weeks, I was correct. It's the 20th. There you go. Jaden's here, everything cars. Bad Books, have you bought an MGF for a change? No. Joe says flavoured water is lovely and a very good price. Jaden asked, Boaty, how did you meet Mustard? Interesting question. I watched his videos and I thought, what an interesting man. I would like to meet him. So I invented a reason to go to the yard. Well, I didn't invent a reason. I needed a sun visor for the Honourable HJ Rover. Mine had gone all floppy. And rather than just get one off eBay, I thought, I'll see if Mustard's got one. And he did have, so I arranged to go up and get it. And that's how I met him. Just went to pick up a sun visor, ended up spending the day there. We got on straight away like a house on fire. And Mustard was my 13th subscriber. Give us a clue, says Joe. Is a new car a Rover or an MG? It's a Rover. It is a Rover. Might have some MG parts on it though, but it is a Rover. Hello, sausages, says Mustard, who is here in our midst, amongst us, part of us, with his virtual arms, embracing us all in a manly grasp. Splendid. Evening, Mustard. I had a great drive home, mate. It's good fun. It is good fun. Clutch is a bit high, isn't it? And there's one annoying rattle, and then when it got a bit dark, the temperature gauge quadrant light has gone. But it's great fun to drive. Absolute hoot. Oh, now everybody's talking about... good evening, Mr. Boaty, says Gary Pisses Vino. Has the V6 bankrupted you yet? No, not yet. I haven't really used it since last Tuesday. I've played with the gramophones and sorted those out and done some other little jobs, but I haven't really used him yet. I will be using him, and I'm talking about Dicker Dum Dum, of course, so Richard Morris. I will be using him on Wednesday. That's the current plan. Simon says, Mustard, Boaty said you were touching his knee when changing gear earlier. He said he liked it. I love Mustard touching me in all sorts of ways and places. What? Oh, right, okay. Yes, quite right, I agree. Please retract your cock. Oh dear. Well, yeah, I think he should retract his cock, to be honest. I retract nothing, says Simon. Nothing, I tells you. And Rob is here, who is nothing whatsoever to do with beards and bangers. He is very much a Rob in his own right, and an absolutely splendid one, if I may say so. And he says, good evening, everyone. And Simon says, Rob, evening non-beards and bangers, Rob. Have you bought a Rover Streetwise, as that's the only car missing from the fleet? It's got a bit of Streetwise on it. You've bought that maroon thing in the yard with the face transplant. No, I haven't. You enjoyed my observation of your look, says Mustard. Right, good God, I've caught up with the comments. Haven't I done well? Well, nobody's guessed it yet. It is a car that spent a lot of time in the yard. I can tell you that. Well, Rob, now then, this is interesting. Now, I didn't know if you wanted it kept secret or not, but judging from your comment, I take it that you don't want it kept secret. So I can announce that it is none other than the lovely Rob, who has bought Fanny the Wonder Freestyle, and who will be coming to Chesterfield a week today, where I will be plucking him from the station, whisking him to the yard via the scenic route, naturally. We will be lunching together, and he's going to be paying. We shall be lunching at Troyes, and then he will be heading back down to deepest, darkest Northamptonshire in the wonderful Fanny. And to answer your question, hope you're looking after my Fanny. We are keeping your Fanny safe and warm, and your Fanny is in good hands. I can tell you that, Rob. I had a look over her. She's actually being kept inside. She's in the lockup, safe and sound. No harm can or will come to her. And we were actually talking about it today, and we are genuinely both jealous of you. Each of us would love to own that car. Are you doing another lunchtime live at the weekend? Yeah, I will be doing, but the last couple of weekends I've just not had a chance. Is it a 75, asked Jaden? No, it's not. I'm stuck on what you've bought, says Joe. Well, it's a good job you really don't mind, Rob, because I've told everybody now. Is Brian coming home soon, asked Gary. Good question. Oh, God, I hope so, but Brian needs a bit of a tricky job doing, so we're in the hands of the garage next door. Mustard's going to try and butter them up again. They tried to do it, but they got stuck, and it needs the big boss man to put his work and expertise to it, and it's going to require a bit of grinding and a bit of welding, and but something that should come off won't, and it's going to have to be surgically removed from the subframe, and then the exhaust will need doing, but that's easy enough. So I hope Brian will be coming home soon. Oh, Mike's here. Classic Wheels Wales. Evening, Jason. Evening, humans. Evening, Mike. And Simon says, Mike, glad you're here. Call Boaty a tosser. It won't be long. Oh, yeah. That's great. Thanks, Boaty. It will still be within the community, so all good there. Yeah, that's great. Is it the Codfather, asked Joe. No, the Codfather is sold to somebody else, not to me. Boaty, you massive tosser, says Mark. That's it. Now I'm in. Now we know exactly where we are. Sounds like a full escalation to it can't be stuck if it's a liquid. Reed Bryan, just put a new arm on and stop being a tight tosser. Simon, we're trying to put a new arm on. We have bought a new arm. A brand new arm has been bought. The problem is we can't get the old arm off, and neither can the garage. There's a problem with the mounting arrangements, and they're both basically going to have to be ground off or something, and then it's going to have to be re-welded to the I don't really understand it, but have you bought Transit Yard? He's been in the have you bought Transit Face? He's been in the yard for a while. No, but Transit Face has gone sold to somebody else. Sounds like a total pain of a job. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I mean, I feel sorry for the guys next door, but yeah, I mean, they're going to be doing it kind of as a part. Well, it's been done for Mustard, really, or me and Mustard, whatever. So that means it's going to be done partly on a favour basis. I mean, it's still going to cost money, but it's, you know, it's going to be favour rates. At least I bloody hope it is. Which means they'll do it when they can be asked, basically. I need to go back to the yard on Wednesday. I might try bribing the big boss with a crate of beer. Is it the caravan, asked Joe? No. There's a problem with the mounting arrangements. Tell that to the judge, says Simon. Have you bought Mustard's bike, says Gary. No. I bought something else of Mustard's. I ain't got a clue now, says Joe. Well, you'll get there eventually. Mike, says Mustard, he is a tosser. I can toss a pancake as well as the next man. It's the only ride he'll get this year, says Simon. Well, I've had the odd one. Keep me in practice, you know. I'm not dead yet. Oh, that's not going to work, is it? There we are. Now, you'll excuse me if I moisturise, won't you? Is it the GSI Tourer, asked Joe. No. Mustard will be keeping that, I think. Certainly for the foreseeable. Is the caravan for sale? How much? Could be for sale. Could possibly be for sale. If somebody wants to give 500 quid for it and take it away. So Mike says the Tourer 420 GSI. No. We've heard you have an odd one, Boaty, says Simon. Is it that red Tourer, says Black Lines? No. Rob says, what does Mustard have in the yard that's silver? Gary says, you have bought Nigel. He has streetwise bits. Finally, somebody got it. Absolutely correct. Yep. There you go. And he is sitting in pole position just outside the door. Bless his little multicoloured heart. Michael Jackson, says Mike. No, that's sold to Joe. Have you bought Transit Face? No, that's gone. He'd better not have bought MJ, says Joe. No, I haven't. Boaty has bought the fridge. No, I haven't bought the fridge. No way, says Neil Gibbons. Gary says a bargain at 83,000. Yeah. Yeah. If anybody thinks that I paid 83 grand for the car, you must be absolutely raving mad. No way have you bought him. He must be a courtesy car. Lol. Does he have silver on him anywhere? Yes, he does, Black Lines. So he qualifies to join the fleet as a silver car. Oh, the microwave is silver, is it? I thought it was white. Or am I getting mixed up with the Tassimo? I could have sworn the microwave was white. Because it's a dial one, which means that it's a fairly basic model, and they're always white, aren't they? Not silver. 83k of someone else's money. It wasn't 83k. Great fun to drive though, really is. It's does put a smile on your face, and it is fun watching people's reactions. When I stopped at the co-op for my potatoes and onions, there were two foreign families who I presume were both staying in holiday lets in the village. One was American and one were, I don't know, Transylvanian, Romanian, some flavour like that. I don't know exactly which. And they were absolutely fascinated by Nigel. The coffee machine is the same colour as MJ. In before, Project Nigel channel name change. Have you bought the channel with it? No. God, that would be pointless, wouldn't it? All the subscribers would sod off within 5 minutes. I can't do mustard. No, the channel will live on. And as far as I know, it will live on under the same name. Are you going to get that bloody headlining done? Asked Gary. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That will be on the list when I can afford it. So, you know, sometime in about 2036, I imagine. Yeah, the headlining is doing the full droop, as they say. I'm just going to have a look at these potatoes. Oh, Mustard says, Nigel, Uncle Boaty will be kind to you. Of course he will. Of course he will. He's there in pole position. Yeah. Right, I wouldn't have chosen... Oh, look at that. I wouldn't have chosen these potatoes, but I hate buying things in sealed packets where you can't see what you're buying. I don't like buying vegetables and stuff in packets, full stop. I normally buy them in Sainsbury's, of course, and I always buy them. I always buy loose vegetables wherever I can. You know, buying them in a bag where you can't see them is a bit like buying a pig in a poke, isn't it? And same with the onions. I had to buy these 3 onions that they have just randomly decided to pack together. Everything was really small in the co-op. The onions are small, the potatoes were small. I like to buy onions loose so I can see what I'm getting because I like a particular shape of onion. And if you buy them by weight, you can peel them before you weigh them and save yourself about 1/1000 of a penny. Whatever is bought, it'll be rubbish, says Simon. Ooh, huh? Frank G _05. Good evening, Boaty, and a very good evening to you, sir. That's a name that I don't recognise. So, are you new, or are you somebody that I know who's done a name change? But welcome anyway. Delighted that you're with us. I'm actually shocked that Nigel has gone. A much-loved car. Well, he hasn't gone. He's only come to me. So he hasn't gone that far, has he? Simon, did you find those potatoes in a Rover? If not, bin them. That's a reference to a silly video that I did, about 8 months ago that just tickled me. It amused me and did quite well for numbers by my standards. So nice one, Simon. Your neighbours are going to have a shock from seeing silver cars all down the street to a multicoloured 25. They are, aren't they? My arse has Boaty bought Nigel, says Bad Books. And Simon says, Mustard will never sell Nigel. They're joined at the nip, not hip. I don't believe it either, says Blacklight. Do you want me to take you outside and show you? I'm not fibbing, my loves. Nigel is out there on my doorstep in pole position. The seat and mirrors have been adjusted to my taste, and the gramophone, which I'm shocked to report. Sit down, sit down. The gramophone was tuned in to Radio 2. Yeah, I am as shocked as you are. I mean, needless to say, every single preset has now been preset to Radio 4, both on FM, which I know, and so do you, stands for frequency modulation, and on LW, which we all know stands for long wave, bit like that, as opposed to short wave, which would be like that. And I hope that makes it absolutely clear. Are there any potatoes lurking in Nigel? Well, not now. There was just that packet. Well, I don't know. I mean, I've literally just come home and done a live stream. I'm not fully aware of exactly what is lurking in Nigel as yet. I've been watching you for months, says Frank G, but never caught you on a live stream. Well, they're too late, aren't they, mate? They're always too late, but thank you for watching me for months, and I'm really glad that you made it to this one. Welcome, and everybody welcome Frank. And the Rover potato video is your best video to date, says Simon. You might be right, actually. We're going on an adventure, says Adam. Neil Goodman says, yes, I do. We need proof. We need proof, Admiral Fibber McBollock's face, says Gary. You could have anything parked outside. That's because you didn't have anything to drive back in. Nigel is just on holiday at Boaty's. Jason has got Nigel as a courtesy car from the Yard of Dreams. What's happening, dudes, says Simone. Hey, Simone, how are you? They've sold Derek and Nigel is the courtesy car, says Bad Books. Oh, and Simone is being told to call me a tosser because apparently it's the law. Only if you're Welsh. You can only call me a tosser if you're Welsh. Or, you know, a mixture of Greek and Welsh. I'll take that. You at least need to have a bit of Welsh in you. Otherwise, I will not take your tosser. Oh God, are you really Mustard? Oh, that's funny. Oh, and Simone has indeed called me a tosser. I'm losing subscribers because of your live stream now. This is too funny. I've lost one, Mustard. It's not just you, and I'm blaming you for that one. Every time Mustard and I do something together, even if it's on my channel, Mustard loses subscribers, which is quite amusing. And of course, the vast majority of my subscribers have actually come from Mustard being on my videos. So it's very unfair. Poor Mustard. Oh, Barry's now calling me a tosser as well. Don't forget the classic, A Brick Called Wilfred, says Gary. I think that's my favourite video. I should try and do more like that. I loved A Brick Called Wilfred. And it is my second highest, excluding shorts, it is my second highest performing video. My number one video is collecting Henrietta Pie, and it's narrowly beating A Brick Called Wilfred, which ridiculously has got 3,000 odd views. Oh, I'm so sorry. Do excuse me. How rude. Boaty's had a bit of Welsh in him, says Simon. Oh, Mike's calling me a tosser again now. Fucking hell. How many tossers do you want me to be? I haven't been here for a while, says Simone. Been sorting shit out. I now have... Oh, God. Right, now she's bloody advertising on my live stream. I now have T-shirts available, peeps. Bloody hell. That's rich, isn't it? You can't be asked to turn up, Simone, unless you've got something to flog on my live stream. God help us. Anything else you want to get rid of while you're here? I mean, let's have a virtual yard sale. I mean, don't bother putting it on Marketplace or anything else. Just bring it onto my live stream, and the rest of you, join in. If you've got anything knocking around the house that you want to flog, tell me about it and we'll sell it on here. Don't forget, I am a very popular pubic figure. I get upwards of 14 people watching my videos. Bad Book says, I once had a Welsh corgi and my uncle's mum was Greek, so you're a tosser. Derek is in the yard, says Mustard. Yeah, absolutely correct. Those who are guessing that Derek has been sold and Nigel is a courtesy car, afraid not. Derek is still in the yard and has not been sold. Question, says Simon. Have you used the P-scan on Mingebag yet? Answer, no. That's still work in progress. And the all-time great, should you buy a facelift Rover 45, says Gary. Well, yeah. That was my first ever video. My first ever video. And arguably my best, because it's one of my shortest. Should you buy a facelift Rover 45? No, they're absolute crap. End of video. Well, somebody's been going through my back catalogue, haven't they? Right back to my very first video. And I haven't got any better, have I? Dear me. They call... Oh no, I can't say... I want to sing that, but I can't unless somebody needs to type that name and then we all have to sing it. I want to sing it, but somebody has to mention the name first. Where did I get to? You are a tosser, says Neil. I'm still unclear if you bought Nigel or not. This is an emotional roller coaster. Mike quite rightly says humans. Now, come on. Only the Welsh can say tosser. I really hope the new owner looks after Derek. That car is a trooper and a brilliant economic daily. Has Derek been poisoning you? Derek actually drove perfectly today, bizarrely enough. Simon says, oh yeah, Hooked on Classics has amazing t-shirts to buy. They're really good. I've done a video of them with Norman Butler. Don't watch this crap, go and watch that. There you go. If you want to, feel free. My organs are from many places, so I could be part Welsh Boaty. I mean, tosser. And that's the lovely Juju who's stuck with this silly name for 2 weeks, apparently. What? Jelly. I don't know. Is Mingebag being sold, asked Joe. If somebody wants to come along and pay a lot of money for Mingebag, they can. I will sell her. I mean, everything is for sale at the right price. As I proved today, by buying the car that apparently couldn't be bought. Although it's not quite as straightforward as that. I have had to part with some of my cars as well. Oh, and now people are calling me a tosser in Welsh. Do you prefer zips or buttons? Well, I prefer either over Velcro, because Velcro is just a total rip-off. But, I mean, I can answer that by showing you... Oh, you can't see from there, can you? Oh, and you can't see if I... No, I can't show you. But, well, maybe I can. Hold on. There you go. You can see that I've got buttons on my I've got button-up jeans, not a zip, so that should answer your question. Boaty, at least you will now have Nigel merch to sell. Yeah, absolutely. No way has Nigel been sold, says Joe. Well, the evidence would suggest otherwise. I've got the keys and he's sitting outside. Hi, Boaty. Oh, sorry, LOL, Boaty. And LOL stands for lots of love, of course. So that's very nice, and lots of love back to you. My silly username was supposed to sound like the spelling of my name, Julie. But I failed. Just call me whatever you want and I'll respond. What the funk? Says Simone. What do you mean, what the funk? We're trying to flog your t-shirts. Trying to do you a favour here. I want commission. We've still not seen him. So much for going on an adventure. I was certain the world would engulf in flames when Nigel was sold. You want to see him? Okay. Let's go and have an adventure. Come with me, darlings. Oh, come with me to the rolling sea where the weather's calm and still. And we'll have some fun and laughter with the adventures of Portland Bill. Portland Bill. Right. There, right, you can see, can't you? This way. This is my door. Right. Not sure what you can see there. I can't go too far out because I'll lose Wi-Fi. But there you go. Hopefully you saw that. Oh, come with me to the rolling sea where the weather is calm and still, and we'll have some fun and laughter with the adventures of Portland Bill. Portland Bill. He's the wanker. Sorry about that. Right, just plug you back in. Make sure that you are nicely in place. That looks about right. And I can resume my seat. Right. What's the difference between me and Boaty, says Simon. All the cars outside my house are mine. Well, yeah, that is a difference, Simon, because none of the cars outside my house are yours. So, but that's probably the same difference between all of us, isn't it? Hello, Door, says Joe. Oh, we're off on an adventure. Adventure completed, says Adam. Still doesn't mean you've bought Nigel, says Bad Books. What do you think I've done? Stolen him? Has Mustard mothballed him for a while? No, Simone, he sold him to me. Are you sure you didn't steal Nigel from the yard? I'm pretty sure. If I'd have stolen it, Mustard's stuff would all still be in there, and it's not. Mustard's stuff is in Mustard's house. Nigel will find his way back. Where's Nigel's paperwork? Every time you buy a car, we always look through the history. You will see the history, don't you worry about that. The problem is, Nigel hasn't got any paperwork. Most of the cars outside mine, says Adam, aren't mine, but there is a big wide world outside mine. Yeah, good point. Oh, Mike's off. Good night, Jason. Good night, humans. Early start tomorrow. Be nice. And Simone is still banging on trying to flog her dodgy shirts and says, my shirts are available till 28th of August. Right, okay. Is the Stella beer can exhaust fix still working on Nigel? There's a little bit of a blow. To be honest with you, tiny bit of a blow. But still working a bit. I want to see the car insurance in your name for Nigel, please, and the tax thingy too. Well, you can't at the moment because I haven't insured him yet. Obviously, Nigel is insured by Mustard, and I'm therefore insured under my policies to drive him on a third party basis. Don't crash him. I'm going to jolly well try not to. Nigel. Oh, that's interesting. Somebody's just commented on a video. And it's a comment on Fanny's video. Well, it's sold now, so you're too late. Nigel is like Herbie and Boaty is like the evil one in the movies. He'll try and start him tomorrow and get covered in oil. Or like Christine, says Blackline. Boaty will be pinned against the front door tomorrow. Hang on a fecking mo, says Simone. Nigel is not silver. Boaty's piss must be boiling. Part of him is silver. That's good enough for me. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, Nigel is going to remain a project, but it's going to be a me project, not a mustard project. And what I'm going to be doing over the next however long it takes, because it's going to depend on money, but Nigel is going to be transformed. Nigel is going to become a fully silver car. That is the plan. The interior is going to be upgraded. It's going to have BRM interior, because I think that silver and red leather just go so well together. And I've got some other plans as well, but he's going to be gorgeous when he's finished. Mustard can now convert his streetwise to multicoloured swap shop spec. Indeed. Nigel is that rare he should be parked around the back, says Joe. What? And take Wetleg space? Oh, it's too late to mess about. I might do that tomorrow, actually. In all seriousness, Joe, I did actually think about that. Nigel will fit around the back, and yeah, he will be safer there. So there might well be a swap over tomorrow, but I wasn't going to do that tonight. Not in the dark. Oh, don't forget, guys, it is your responsibility to name this stream. Make it funny, make it quirky, make it interesting, but don't make it filthy. Don't get me demonetized again. In all seriousness equals talking more bollocks than usual, says Simon. No, says Simone, this must be a wind-up. Those BRM interiors are a thing of beauty, says Frank. I completely agree. Joe says Jason's nose is getting longer and longer with each sentence. Not so much. In my opinion, says Gary, Nigel will not be there in the morning. He will abscond and return to the yard. Have I been asleep all this time, and is it April the 1st today? Or is it National Fib Day? Careful what's parked on the road, says Simon. Last thing you want is a plod upping their quota of fines. Why would plod be fining me? On what basis would he fine me? The cars are all taxed, all MOT, and all insured. So, fully silver, Nigel. Now we know you're winding us up, Boaty. Title suggestion from Simon. Boaty's a lying tosser. You've surely just borrowed him to get you home tonight, says Rob. Stream of yellow, not frozen snow, says Simone. I can't believe anyone would steal one of those poor BRM interiors and put it in a 25. Well, what's a BRM if it's not a 20? Oh, okay, it's a 200, I suppose, isn't it? Stream title, Making Plans for Nigel. Obvious but appropriate. Oh, good shout. I like that one. Call it Boaty's bullshit banter. Gosh, I'm a little hurt that you all seem to doubt me so much. I'm basically just making a collection of famous YouTubers' cars. So I've got Project Nigel car now. I've got the Lloyd Vehicle Consulting car. I've got a Chops Garage car. So what else do I need? I need to buy one off Matt. And I need, oh God, I need one of James's cars. I might have to save up for that. Not quite in the market to buy one of his Ferraris yet, am I? A single colour Nigel sounds almost illegal. I won't be fully. I'm basically going to do the reverse of what Mustard did with Eric. He's going to be predominantly silver, but he's going to be accented with probably black. It depends on the interior I end up getting. Now, ideally, I want a BRM interior. Now, today, a pair of BRM seats in reasonably good nick were put up for sale, and they were only 80 quid, which is a mad bargain. But that's all he had, just the front seat, so no back seat, no door cards, etc. So if I end up just going down the black leather route, and of course there is a black leather interior knocking about the yard, then I'm going to accent Nigel with black doings. So Eric was obviously black and had the silver bits. Well, where he's got silver bits, I'm going to have black bits on a silver Nigel. You're not getting Margaret, says Julie. Boaty is single-handedly saving Longbridge. You ain't having TC, says Simone. Oh dear. Nigel's night out on the windy bum. You can have Margaret if you want. Mate rate. No, it's wrong colour. Title: Nigel abduction and an ever-growing nose of truth. I need to screenshot these. There's some good ones in there. That's that one. Right, jolly good. Okay, where do I get to? Where's the green slip then? I sense a strong farmyard smell. We haven't done that bit yet. We're doing that bit on Wednesday. Right, it's a complicated deal, darlings. It's not a straight sale. There's money involved, but there's also a transfer of vehicles involved as well. Transit face has gone. Mustard needed something big and stout to shift stuff around the yard. And Erica's was his only car with a tow bar. So it makes sense for Mustard to have the Land Rover and a couple of the other cars and a few Bob, and they're going to be much more used to him than Nigel is. Now, I've got to go back to the yard on Monday because we're starting to arrange getting my vehicles, which are now going to be Mustard's vehicles. We got to arrange getting them up to the yard, and we'll be doing all of the paperwork in one go then. So I can't show you the green slip at the moment, but all things in due course. Are you using Nigel as a stud to impregnate Wetleg before sending him home? That's funny. You can have Coney for a straight swap for a 75 Tourer, says Simone. Well, I haven't got a 75 Tourer. Now we're talking about silver blobs. Oh dear. Oh, right. We await Boaty's video on single-handedly fitting all the body parts and the interior. Yeah. Frank says, we need the Hedgehog of Truth immediately. The Hedgehog of Truth is in the caravan of about to be movedness. We have plans, darling. We have plans. Things are going to be changing. Because you are seeing a new, more dynamic Mustard and Boaty. We are no longer the Mustard and Boaty who did cars for an entire series over a summer and managed to buy one car and not sell it. Oh, those days have gone. We're dynamic now. We're buying them. We're selling them. We're clearing up the yard. We're singing about Barry Shitpeas. Oh, somebody said Barry Shitpeas. They call him Barry Shitpeas because he shits peas. Oh dear. Honestly, says Mustard, this guy has money in dark places. Not anymore, you've cleaned it all out, mate. Bring out the hog, says Rob. Oh, Simon. Is your bottom part of the deal, wonders Joe? No, it is not. To be honest, Boo would make a fabulous family vehicle for Paul and family. Well, there you are, you see. Taking all the cars to the yard, which has no room. They're not staying there, Simon. They're not staying there. Well, one will be. The rest are going to be sold on. And there will be room at the yard because cars are going. Not Boo. What about the picnic, says Black Lines. Yeah, and I won't be able to do the camping thing either. Isn't that a shame? You can nag Mustard to do it. Oh God, Herr Dumpy Dump. We haven't seen him for a while. Herr Dumpy Dump. Was zum Teufel ist mit deinem ganzen Blödsinn los? Not a clue. The stories that unearth when the hog is hidden. That's the hedgehog of truth, of course. Maybe Boaty has frozen his wine and that's why he's talking nonsense. Haven't got any wine on the go yet. It's too early. I'm going to put some in the freezer though. Because, darlings, it is very nearly wine o'clock. And I'm looking forward to that very much. Oh, excuse me. Mustard is getting Derek, obviously, but surely not Brian Johnston. Mustard and Boaty version 3. The fails continue. Is that fail or fall? Could be either. But how are we failing? We're buying cars and we're selling them. What more do you want from us? Does it count if you're selling them round in circles? We're not selling them round in circles. You're selling them to each other? No, those are our personal cars, Black Lines. The company cars, the Mustard and Boaty do cars, they've all been sold to other people, not to each other. Dynamic, says Cheeseburger, sounds like a bring 'em by sale. I want my City Rover donated fiver back, you tosser, says Simone. I've been trying to find a City Rover. You try and find one. And as soon as one comes up, I will buy it, especially if it's silver. If any of you can find a City Rover, I will buy it and I will give you a finder's fee. Ich will den Caravan. Ich gebe dir, well, what's 500 in German? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 500 Euro. Oh dear. I can't keep up, says Black Lines. And making another yard ornament. But yeah, it's all very exciting at the moment. Exciting times. We've got some Mondays to look forward to with people coming to the yard. The excitement of buying new stock. The excitement of passing lovely cars on to lovely people. So if Nigel is no longer Mustard's, the channel name will have to go. Well, why will it? Why will it? Nigel's still going to be about and he's still going to be called Nigel. And Mustard will still be doing the work on it. Oh, folder news. Oh, but before I go to folder news, Frank, thank you very much. Frank has just become a channel member and I'm very, very grateful indeed for that. And that means that you will now, of course, get access to the daily diary videos as soon as they come out. And that means that tomorrow morning, you will get to see today's daily diary, which means that you will get to see what went on with Nigel. and my first impressions of driving him, and some of my plans and whatnot. So thank you very much. I really appreciate. I appreciate all of my channel members and everybody else generally. I love you all madly. But thank you, Frank. Welcome to channel membership. You get other stuff as well. You get to use some different things, whatever they're called, emoticons. You get cake and Momo at meets and stuff like that. And I can't remember what else I've promised people. I think you get a free holiday in the Peak District or something. Or a signed pair of my old underpants. Honestly can't remember. Basically, if you're a channel member and you want something, just ask me and I'll do it for you. I'm good like that. Right, yes. Cheeseburger says, go to India. Loads of Tata Rovers there. Well, of course, the city car is actually, the City Rover is actually a Tata Indica, of course. That was shipped over from India. Had a few minor changes done on it, and was then sold at a Rover at a vastly inflated price. I've never even driven one. By all accounts, they're absolutely horrid. So I would love to own one. I really would. Genuinely. If any of you know where there's one going, especially if it's silver, I give you my personal guarantee that I will buy it. And I will give you a finder's treat. Now, folder news. I know you're excited about folder news, and I do have some folder news for you, darlings. Some very exciting folder news. Now, unfortunately, I can only show you part of the folder news because the other part of the folder news hasn't arrived yet. But as we mentioned in a previous live stream, obviously, being such a prestigious car, Dicker Dum Dum, aka Dickie Dido, aka Sir Richard Morris, will need a genuine leather folder. And I'm pleased to report that he will have one because I have purchased one second hand off eBay. Very nice, high quality leather, genuine leather before you all start. And that will be arriving in due course. Today, and look, I haven't even opened them yet. This is a live unboxing or whatever you call it. Today, these have arrived courtesy of Amazon. And there you go. They will be going into the nice leather folder when that arrives, and then all of Dicker Dum Dum's paperwork, which I've got all piled up in a box in the front parlour there. I'm so sorry. I mean, honestly, you deserve better. I mean, you're nice people and you're kind people, and you come along and you give me your time, which I really appreciate. And what do? I just burp at you. And honestly, you really do deserve better. And I can only apologise and promise that in future, I'm going to try to be a better Boaty. And I'm going to do that for you. But yeah, I've got, so the folder's coming. I've got the divider doings. I've got plenty of Polly Pockets already in stock, so that's all taken care of. What else have I done to Dicker Dum Dum? You know, oh, a lot of you won't know. I've probably spoken about it, haven't I? And probably put it in the on Facebook and whatnot. But you won't have seen all of the daily diaries unless you're a channel member. You will see them tomorrow. So what have I done to Dicker Dum Dum? I fitted matte retainers. I fitted an official Sir Richard Morris pen in the official Sir Richard Morris pen slot. I've managed to get I've refurbed the original, well, partly refurbed. No, bollocks, I refurbed it. I sorted them damn knobs. So the original gramophone is properly fitted now and working beautifully. And what else have I done? Some other bits and pieces. But yeah, all of the paperwork will be correctly and properly filed away. And when it's done, I'm going to show it to you page by page. In fact, I might do a live stream where I just sit and file all the paperwork and make you watch it. That's my evil laugh, is that? So that's very exciting. And what else is happening there? Oh, I'm building a website. How exciting is that? I'm building what's going to be an all singing, all dancing website, which will have a shop with things for sale, and it will have videos on it that don't appear anywhere else because because I wouldn't get away with posting them, basically. And there will be a special section for the doings of Mustard and Boaty and all sorts of other wonderful things. It's going to be a marvelous website. It's already starting to look a little bit good, and I'm very excited about that. Not quite as excited as I am about folder news, but hey ho, yeah, there we are. So Simon, I hope you enjoyed that folder update, and when I do the putting paperwork away in a folder live, I'll be sure to tag you in it, because I know you wouldn't want to miss that, and I'll make sure that you don't. You can come and be a guest if you like. You can be a guest at the live putting stuff in a folder event, and you can sniff the folder with your own nose, or you could bring your good lady and use her nose to ensure, and a word beginning with C, not contemplate, not corroborate, confirm. That's the chap. Tricky fellows, words when you can't think of them. You can confirm that it is indeed high quality, pure grade leather, and not fake wannabe leather like some of my other folders allegedly are. Now then, it will now be project, just project, says Julie. Should be project yard, says Frank. Oh, hello. A hidden message from Ben. Livestream name, channeling Mike and Jimmy Quinn. Tosser, what a load of shit. Where's Jimmy Quinn? Have I lost him? I haven't seen him for ages. Does he not love me anymore? Oh, Sans Vintage is here. Good evening, Boaty, and good evening, everyone. Should be Project Piss Take, says Cheeseburger. Channel members get to not watch the daily diaries before us non-channel members, says Simon, who sometimes is too funny and clever for his own good. You asked for it, Boaty, says Simone. Buy a t-shirt. Mustard says the yard is being emptied of cars that aren't mine. Quite correct, it certainly is. Cheeseburger says finder's fee is normally 10%. How much is a pint these days? Not a clue. Do you prefer the 25 over the ZR? Asks Frank. Well, do you know, Frank, to the best of my knowledge, I've never driven a ZR, so I don't know. No, I don't think I've ever driven a ZR. So I'll have to, I'm going to have to hold judgment on that. If Des O'Connor is going into a folder, says Cheeseburger, it should be beige like Des was. Well, I'm tired. Good night all, says Blacklines. Pingu's here. Good afternoon, Admiral Botula. What's occurring? Have I missed much? Hardly anything, Pingu, just the normal crap. Although there has been a folder update, so you'll want to watch the whole thing again on catch up. Oh, it's wine o'clock, darlings. You didn't tell me, did you? Oh, and I need to rinse the glass. Bear with. Wine o'clock. Well, this is a treat, isn't it? What a treat. Oh, and I can give you some lunch news. Due to the specific circumstances today, I finally got my chippy lunch. And very nice it was. too. And as you'll find out, Mustard made the great mistake of saying, think of it as a treat, not me just doing what I owe you. Have whatever you want. So I damn well did. I had a large portion of chips. I had a large curry sauce. And I nicked a bit of his potato fritter or scallop or whatever you want to call them. So I did very well for lunch today. I was very happy. I had the second most expensive pie on the menu. And I can report, oh, and I had a can of Diet Coke. I really went to town. So I'm in the lead now because lunch, when it's just the two of us, is normally £10 on the nail. And today was £12.40. And Mustard had to pay that. So technically I'm winning. Although I don't think I am actually, because going back to the last time we had lunch with Johnny, I paid for 3. And that was about £18. So maybe I'm not winning after all. And that's fallen out. It's gone back in upside down. That's annoying. Well, I'm looking forward to this, my lovelies. Well, isn't this nice? All of us together. Cheers, darlings. Your very good health. Bottoms up and up yours. Oh, perfect temperature. You've missed everything, Pingu, says Juju. Also, hello. The website sounds like a great idea, says Joe. Hopefully it will be. Livestream name number 2 from Ben. Nigel amongst the pigeons. Oh, I like that one. Screenshot that. I've got to head out, says Barry. Night, lovely people. Good night, Barry. Thanks for popping by. Gosh, 29 people watching. That's quite good by my standards. I mean, obviously, it's nothing like Mustard gets, but he's a very popular figure, unlike me. Folder news is always welcome, says Simon. It's better than a shaking camera through a windscreen. I can't get a decent mount. If anybody can point me in the direction of a decent mount, and I don't mean on the Attercliffe Road, again, I would be very grateful. HJ let me down yesterday, says Pingu. Yeah, I heard about that, but should be fixing him tomorrow. Oh, so I can go fishing very soon. Excellent. Will that be next weekend, Pingu? Next Sunday, maybe? Jimmy Quinn and son of Boaty must be on holiday together, says Bad Books. Yeah, I haven't seen Jimmy for ages. Thinking about it now. Ages and ages and ages. So, oh God, it's a weird thing to say, but I hope he's okay and he's just decided he can't be asked to watch me anymore. He's not commented on any of my videos or anything. That does happen. That does happen, actually. You get people, it's happened to me, and I know it's happened to other people as well. You get people that seem to be really into you. You know, they watch your live streams, they're always there, they comment on nearly every video. And then suddenly they just decide they don't like you anymore and disappear. And you kind of wonder, well, what was it? What did I do that put them off? And, you know, if they don't tell you, you never find out. Maybe it's just a natural thing, you know. There are channels that I used to habitually watch, which I don't anymore. Maybe your tastes just change or the channels change and you just get a natural churn of people maybe. But I hope Jimmy's okay and I hope he comes back because I like Jimmy. Simon says, wasn't that the website on a video the other day? it wasn't anything to do with your stuff, was it? I assumed it was a generic one. No, what it was is I can't be asked to actually build it in HTML. So I'm using a generic layout, a generic platform, if you like. But then obviously I will redo everything. So that was the template. That was the word I was looking for. So that was just a generic template for a front page on the website builder that I'm using. I'm only using GoDaddy, nothing Flash, but because I haven't got even if I could do it anymore, and I'm not sure. I used to program in HTML. Way back in the day, there didn't used to be a choice, because in the very early days of ebay.co.uk, if you wanted to do stuff like have pictures in your listings and whatnot, then you had to do your own eBay listings in HTML. So I did learn how to do it. But if you've never tried doing it in HTML, it's a nightmare and it takes forever. And I'm bugging if I'm doing it with the website. So I get on very well with GoDaddy. I find them brilliant to deal with. I've been dealing with them for years and years and years. All of my web hosting is with GoDaddy, and all of my domains are with GoDaddy. So I'm just using the GoDaddy website builder now, and I'm using an existing template for the front page, which I will, when you saw it on the video, I was in the process of changing, and then I'll just add all of my own pages subsequent to that. So yeah, some of the stuff you saw on there was the generic template, but ignore all of that because obviously that won't be there. You should have taken old Benny Jazzmags for a spin. Yeah, I never drove him. Went out in him, but where's Stickman? Asked Bad Books. I think he got a bit upset and decided to go. No, he's not on the naughty step. He well, I think he rather flounced actually, but hey ho, there we are. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe you just have to go and pick his nephew up or something. Was anyone here at Pateley Bridge MG show the other day? Asks Frank. Ben says, Pingu, the Admiral will swap you Nigel the project for the most honourable HJ. I bloody won't. Simone says, bye, stuff needs doing, see you all later. Bye, Simone, and her shirts are available until the 28th of August. Lunch is on me on the 21st, says Joe. Whoa! Well, that's it. Right, it's my turn next, and I'm going to get away with it for 2 weeks. Excellent. And I'm totally having the extra salad. That's very kind of you, Joe. Thank you. We shall look forward to in making you endure being filmed while eating, and we shall interrogate you under the auspices of the Hedgehog of Truth. That'll teach you. Simon says, Simone, don't forget you have t-shirts for sale. I just mentioned that. Oh, have I missed that one? No, don't know. Ta-ra then, says Simone. Take care, my lovely. Oh, and Ben says to Bad Books about son of Boaty and Jimmy Quinn, they're probably living it up in the Hamptons with hubby. Stranger things have happened. I try and comment on all the videos, says Joe. You do, bless you. But I'm failing at the moment. You're a busy boy, my God. 65-hour weeks. Jimmy has dumped you for a younger Chinese model, says Pingu. I don't get that. Oh gosh. 23:17, oh great knackered one. God, is it? I was going to finish at 11, wasn't I? Boaty is using GoDaddy. Has anyone seen Roger Boaty? Hasn't Stickman changed his name? Yeah, He's now oh God, no, Mustard. Yeah, he has changed his name. Mustard says, another subscriber gone. You're not good for me at all. Stop putting me on your videos. Your people don't like me. Clearly. Oh God, I feel guilty now. I tell you what, I'll repay you. I'll get the Nepalese lot to subscribe to you as well as to me. Get you some numbers in. Oh, I feel dreadfully guilty. I mean, it is quite funny, but then it's kind of not funny as well. Seriously, we're not making this up. Every time I appeared on a Mustard video, or even now, when Mustard appears on my video, he loses subscribers. Oh dear. Oh God, says Joe, the hedgehog of truth needs hiding away. I have a zero filter. Oh, that'll be amusing. Evening, says Ollie Owls, who is of course my friend Steve. I didn't realise JM has a couple of MGs until today. Hashtag that's all. Not only does he have a couple of MGs, but Captain Mustard, my partner in crime, who is friends with JM, he went with James to pick one of them up. He went down and grabbed James from down south and took him back up to the north to collect his Mustard. Which one was it? Was it the ZR he bought? Was it a ZR? A ZR 160 or something? But yeah, so Mustard was on a video with James going up to collect one of the MGs and looked it over for him and told him it had a binding brake caliper and he shouldn't drive it home. So he drove it home. And it was a binding brake caliper. And of course, James, JM on Cars, has done a video on Project Nigel, which was, at the time, Captain Mustard's car, quite well known. And yeah, and James and I are still talking about doing some stuff together, but God knows when that'll actually happen or what it will be. But we've agreed we'd both like to, we just don't know what to do. Haiku, says Simon. People are here, but are they really all here? Really, they are not. Here, says Ross. Good morning. Any news on the Ukrainian wife search, asks Pingu. No news whatsoever. I gave that up as a bad job. I've decided, genuinely, if you want to genuinely know, then I went back over the reasons that my relationships split up. And it generally comes down to basically the same thing. I am at my happiest when I'm on my own. I like a woman. I like a lot of women. But I like them in short bursts. So I'm not looking for any sort of a wife. Life is brilliant at the moment. I wouldn't be able to do all of this if I was in any of my previous relationships. So there is no search for a wife. I like ladies to pop by now and then for a while. That's what I like. Or I pop by to them. That kind of thing. You know, whatever you want to call it. Friends with benefits or whatever you yeah. Doesn't need to have a title, does it? Doesn't need, just what suits. So yeah, I'm not looking for a wife. In terms of the Ukrainian thing, I'm still doing everything that I can to help. I'm still running the site that matches up Ukrainian people needing UK sponsors or homes with people who have got homes to offer. and doing all of that sort of thing, doing everything that I can, but yeah, not looking for a wife. Oh, Matt is here. He's just lurking. That's nice. Glad you're still here, mate. Yellow ZR, says Simon, with locked brakes and stupid buzzing rear bulbs. Oh, yeah, that's right. Forgot about that bit. I do like James, says Steve. A very amiable chap who's willing to offer advice on DM. He is. He's lovely. I've never met him. I just chat with him on Messenger and whatnot. But obviously, Mustard's really quite chummy with him. He's done a couple of videos with him. They are lunch buddies, and hopefully it won't be too long before James and I finally do something together. It's partly my fault. He keeps telling me to remind him, and I kind of never do. JM just got a cheap Maserati with 2 huge folders of history. It's the wrong colour for your fleet. Ah, right, I saw he bought something Italian. Which model is it? I would be quite interested in that. I'm quite fond of Maseratis. I think I've told you at some length about the twin-turbo Shamal that I had. And interestingly, I did watch an episode of Harry's Garage, where he tested the Shamal, and that brought back a lot of memories. I really enjoyed that. A Maserati will be a money pit. Yeah, absolutely. Cheeseburger, says Bad Books. Just back from holiday in Slovenia. Whippet's very popular, saw no greyhounds. Oh, hang on, I've jumped ahead a couple, haven't I? I really should have a Rover. I own a Whippet, says Cheeseburger. And Steve says, cool. It will be good to see a Boaty and JM collab. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. But God, we've been talking about it for 6 months now, and it still hasn't bloody happened. But, you know, there is a bit of distance between us, of course. I mean, what I'll have to do is one of these weeks, I'll just bite the bullet, and I'll just have to go down on a Monday, rather than waiting for a circumstance where we're both happen to be in the same place at the same time. Or grab him up here. But it'll happen. It will happen. Maserati will be a money pit. I agree. Title: what suits? Cheeseburger says, Boaty likes women in short bursts. You can treat premature ejaculation. God, if I'd suffered from that at my age, then there would be a problem. I'm looking for a ZR for my next car, says Frank. Preferably a 120. Beats the 1.3 Yaris I have at the moment. Oh, good car, Yaris. We are very alike that way, Boaty, says Rob. Love female company, but happy on my own and doing my own thing. Yeah, that's kind of, I mean, it's not like, I've hardly ever been single. Throughout my life, I've hardly ever been single. I've gone from pretty much from one relationship to another. So I'm just really enjoying it now. So it's not like I've always been a loner, but even when I was in relationships, I valued a little bit of time on my own. But, you know, I loved everything else that I did. I love children. I've loved raising children. I've loved being a husband. I've loved being a family man. I've loved doing all the family stuff. I've loved all of that. And, you know, I have done it all. But, you know, I guess I'm of an age where it's kind of been there, done that. I mean, I'm 50 years old now. I'm 52 years old now. So, you know, if the kids were still my kids, I mean, they're all married with kids themselves now. Oh God, it's my wife's birthday coming up. 28th, I think, 28th of this month. Yeah, I've kind of done that. So I'm just really, really enjoying this time. The last two relationships, Boo and Chinese Madam, were really quite intense. So yeah, it's nice I'm enjoying having my own space. I'm enjoying doing my own thing. I've got, you know, it's not like I'm living the life of a complete singleton. I have female friends, very good friends, and we do see each other, and I enjoy that very much, and I enjoy them very much. But in terms of a full-on relationship, you know, never say never. The right person comes along, then who knows? Who knows? But I'm loving life at the moment. Life is great. I've got you guys, I've got the cars, I've got mustard. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And if I got into a relationship like I had with Chinese Madam, then all of that would be likely to go, because the relationship would be all consuming and it would just take over everything. And I value what I've got too much to allow that to happen. What I really need, or what I would need in theory, would be a Miss Hubnut. Somebody like Carly, who is into or could get into the YouTube thing, was happy to be part of it, so that, you know, a me thing becomes an us thing, and something like that would work perfectly well. So if anybody knows anybody, shove them in my direction. Where did I get to? Have you heard from Mr. Ben 747, or has he dumped you as well? He's dumped me as well. Haven't seen him for I've just been dumped left, right and centre, haven't I? Now, I know you swore blind, Pingu, that Mr. Ben 747 wasn't you. I still have my doubts. Simon says, when Boaty and James meet, there'll be fireworks and a restraining order. I don't know. Cheeseburger says, bad books. I had a greyhound before, rescued the whippet 10 years ago. Simon says, you have knowledge of all these cars. Why not do 5-minute long shorts about each of them? A voiceover pictures of various models. That's maybe not a bad idea. I sort of started to go a bit down that line when I talked about some of the cars that had been through my hands. But I don't know, would there be any value in doing that when I haven't got the cars anymore? Would there be value in just reminiscing about them with pictures or footage of cars? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Especially if they were shorts, like 5 minutes. Because, yeah, I have got, yeah. Sometimes it's interesting to hear about other people's experiences with certain cars. Whether they're cars that you've had experience of yourself or not. But yeah, obviously because of the job that I did, because I had to know what I was doing. So if I didn't know about a car, I had to research it pretty damn thoroughly. Then, yeah, I kind of have insight into a lot of cars, and I've driven them and I've owned them. But also, I've been involved with some quite important cars, and it might be interesting to do some pieces on that. You know, I'd have to struggle to remember a lot of the really important ones, but they were kind of important. Good idea, Simon. Thank you. Title, bite the bullet and go down on a Monday. Screenshot that. It was the yellow ZR, says Mustard, that he went to collect with James, yeah. Ross says, Boaty, you and JM should do a stream together. I reckon he'd be impressed with cars you've driven back in the day and the stories that go with them. That would be fun. That would be fun. There is one of James's that I actually want to drive. Now, James is a big fan of the 355, and obviously I owned one of those, and yeah, I mean, for me it was absolutely peak Ferrari. But he speaks even more highly of another that came thereafter, and I'd like to drive that. I've got no experience of driving any Ferraris later than a 355, and I would like to get my arse into, I'd have no interest in driving anything current, but the generation after the 355, like James's Modena, I would genuinely love to get some time in that. That really would interest me. But I know what we'd end up talking about, me and James. And because we've talked about it when chatting, we'd end up talking Bristols. And I know the joke that you're going to do. But obviously, my real area of expertise is Bristol motorcars. And he's been quite taken with the ones that he's tested. So that would be an interesting chat. Pingu says, I recommend you do a collaboration with Furious Matt and drive the 200 VI I sold him. You would love it. Nippy, comfy and great handling in my opinion. I'd love to do something with Matt actually. I really enjoy his videos. He's a very, very nice man. Thank God he's got a sense of humour. Yeah, I'd love to do that. And if I've driven a VI, I don't recall it. So yeah, I'd love to have a drive of that. Maybe I need to spend some more Mondays heading south to all the guys down there, because oddly enough, I would actually like to do something with Joseph as well. We had a chat that we didn't film. We had a long chat that we didn't film. We filmed a bit, or he did. I didn't take any film with Joseph. He took some of me that will be up at some point if it's not already. But we had a long old chat, and I would actually like to do something with Joseph. He's a really interesting chap, and he certainly knows his onions. Yeah, that would be the big three that I really do want to work with: James, Matt, and Joseph. Oh, and Dan's Bangers, obviously. I'm dying to do something with Dan's Bangers, especially as we are now 45 V6 buddies. Me and Dan, we've both got one. Oh, where did I get to? Cheeseburger says, Pingu, is that 200 VI on the road? I haven't seen a video lately. Me and my mum, says Frank, what's the new 45 video? And me and my mum watched the new 45 video of mine, and we were laughing for ages at the continuous theme of Sweet FA going on in the roadworks. I was getting so bloody frustrated at that. By the way, Frank, I keep calling you Frank. Is that actually your name? Just checking. Or is it just a username and not your real name? I wouldn't want to refer to you wrongly. But I'm glad that gave you a laugh. I was really getting frustrated. It was late. I was late for the live stream. I was tired. And just all the way up the pissing M1. Coned down for to one lane and absolutely sod all going on. Simon says, Pingu, Rob is selling his BRM. I'd buy that if I had any money at the moment. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Cheeseburger says he seems very deep into welding the crown brick. God, is he still welding the crown brick? Bloody hell. Joe says Matt's 200 VI is back on the road this month. He said it in his latest video on the Freelander. Yeah, I've got a few videos to catch up on. I saw he did one on Hippo. Now, I was hoping on my quest to buy YouTube cars, which I haven't got. It's not a plan to buy YouTubers' cars. It's just happened. But another one I was after was Matt's Hippo. I wanted a Freelander, and my plan was always to hold on until Matt decided that Hippo was going to be up for grabs, and I was going to buy that. But then obviously, thanks to the lovely Classic Wheels Wales Mike, Mad Mike's Motors, I ended up getting the Miss Boo, the Chops Garage Freelander, which, you know, and I wouldn't swap her. I wouldn't swap her now. Well, I can't. I don't own her anymore. Mustard does. Did you see the gorgeous ZTT on the Drive Tribe channel? Oh God, the one they did a while ago. Yeah, I saw that. Ben was driving it, wasn't he? I saw the video with Ben driving it. Boaty is looking for the right woman, says Cheeseburger. Meghan Markle might be free soon. Oh, I think she's a bit high maintenance, isn't she? Oh, and Joe says Matt was waiting for the new month to tax it. Fair enough. And Bad Books agrees. Markle will be a serious money pit. I'm sure Boaty has met yacht girls before. Pingu says, Mr. Ben was not me, Boaty. Just the inspiration for my own silly name. Oh, okay. The Hippo video was great. I will watch it. Fiat 355. That's nothing. My daughter has a Fiat 500. Title. Mustard and Boaties use poor Nigel as clickbait. Did you see the late break barn find Bristol yesterday, asked Cheeseburger. No, I don't know what late break is. Don't know anything about that. Title, we're only making plans for Nigel. I think somebody did that before. Which model Bristol was it, out of interest? Boaty wants to do something with Joseph. Pornhub, here we come. His review of the 1994 306 XL was good. I haven't seen it yet. Oh, and somebody else asked, Boaty, have you seen the Barn Find Bristol on the Late Break Show? No, I've never heard of the Late Break Show. I've had my share of Barn Find Bristols because, as you all know, I've gone on about it anymore. My dad's best friend was the world's biggest Bristol dealer, and I was pretty much brought up on his place. And he literally had, well, I was going to say he had barns full of them, but they weren't barns. On his land, Brian had aircraft hangars, literal aircraft hangars, and he just had acres and acres and acres of cars in the aircraft hangars. I mean, when I say he was a big dealer, and this is from home, it's just he happened to live in an ancestral mansion with a lot of grounds. And yeah, they were just full of Bristol. And Brian is a fascinating character. I don't know if he's still alive. I've lost touch. I should really find out. But Brian is an amazing character. There are some, I don't know if they're available to see online, but there are some television programs about him. My dad's on one of them. And yeah, just an amazing character. Millions of pounds worth of cars and never had a pot to piss in. Never actually had any money. lived in an ancestral mansion. Well, he did. The ancestral mansion burnt down and he couldn't afford to rebuild it, so they moved into the servants' quarters. But he still had all of the land, and yeah, it was just full of Bristols. Frank is my real name. Okay, jolly good. Title, Men in Love, open brackets, with Nigel, close brackets. Slip of the tongue there, Boaty, says about books. Slippery chaps' tongues, they are indeed. Johnny Smith from Fifth Gear is Late Break Show. I don't know Johnny Smith and I don't know Fifth Gear, sorry. And I don't know the Late Break Show. Yeah, that Bristol is a big job, says Cheeseburger. Ah, it's a Ford 03. 2 owners, less than 30k miles. Late Break is Johnny Smith. I don't know who Johnny Smith is. I preferred Car Pervert, his old name. I didn't know that either. And Mustard says, and mustard? What's that in relation to, sir? That's interesting. Was that Brian, the bloke who recently died and wrote a letter to the original Ford 03 owner? Right, oh sorry, that's aimed at Cheeseburger. I don't know. That's the one. What? Eh? My Brian, Bristol Brian. Is that who you're talking about? I'm a bit lost. Help me out. Help me out. Might as well keep going until midnight now. You got 14 minutes. Brian May. Yeah, that's the fellow. Has he died? Shit, has he died? Yeah, Brian May, known as Bristol Brian. Amazing guy. He was a singer, he was a boxer, and then he played with cars. And he was my father's best friend. He was my father's best man. And I was literally brought up on his place. As an adult, I dealt with him. I've bought cars from him and I've sold cars to him when I was dealing. So he's recently died. Oh. See, now I feel guilty. Is Jean still alive? I was very fond of Jean. Jean is Brian's wife, second wife. Brian passed away, says she. You need to watch it then, Boaty. Sounds like I do. Brian passed away. Letter to him to second owner in the 70s, Birmingham address. Yeah, Brian's place was in Birmingham. Gosh. Oh, that's a bit sobering. I mean, it's a while. The last time I saw Brian, in all honesty, the last time I saw Brian was at my mother's funeral. He was very fond of my mother, and of course when my mother died, my dad had just had his stroke, a very major stroke, and he wasn't really with it, but the two Brians came to the funeral, of course. Bristol Brian came, and Brian Dale, another infamous Birmingham name, he came, of course. And my mum's funeral was brilliant. I mean, I know it's a weird thing to say, but I absolutely loved it. It was a great time. And that was the last time that I saw Brian, because after Mum died, there was all the stuff with Dad, and Dad wasn't up to anything anymore. So to the best of my knowledge, Dad never saw Brian again. And of course, at that point, I was, and then I went through my divorce and had to start working for a living again, having retired and all of that. And I just never saw Brian. So yeah, my mum's funeral was the last time. We had a great time, and I was always incredibly fond of Brian. I hope I've still got them, but there are photograph albums full of pictures of me with Brian. From the wedding pictures where, as I say, Brian was my dad's best man. Loads of pictures at his place, pictures with me and Jean. Oh my goodness me, Joseph is here. How lovely. Good evening, sir. How the devil are you? Gosh. Oh well, this is a treat. I know you popped on to, was it last Monday's live stream? But unfortunately, when you popped up, I was just saying good night. So good evening to you, sir. Forgive us, but I've just found out, Joseph, that my dad's best friend, who's quite a well-known chap, his name is Brian May, who was known as Bristol Brian, and he was like the world's biggest Bristol dealer. And we're talking about Bristol motor cars, as I'm sure you're aware. I was just saying that I lost touch with him after my mother's funeral, and apparently he has very recently passed away, sadly. Gosh, that's a bit sobering. It's it's gosh. Oh, a generation past, eh? Pardon me while I top up my wine. How lovely to have Joseph with us. That's an absolute treat. I wanted to ask you a question then, but I thought I'd better not, because it might not be, it's about something that might not be out there in terms of your videos. So I won't ask, just in case it puts you in an awkward position. LVC, nearly bought one back in the day. So she's very good, but ZX was better value. I could buy a 1 Ford Advantage with a better spec for the same money. They never released a 1.1 in the UK, by the way. Simon is off and says, good night all, take care folks. Be careful what you say on here, everyone, says Joseph. I am watching. Well, I've only said really nice things about you. I don't know how long you've been watching, but I was saying that I really enjoyed our chat, and that I would, you are on my top 3 hit list of people to do some collaboration work with. I would love to do some content with you, because you are very knowledgeable chap and very personable. And I did really enjoy chatting. And also Matt, who obviously you know very well. And I was saying earlier that James and I, JM, we've been trying to plan doing something together for about 6 months now, and it annoyingly it still hasn't happened. More my fault than his, to be fair. We're saying goodnight to Simon. Thank you, sir. Sorry to hear about the death of the chap you mentioned. Yeah, it's well, I mean, I suppose he must have been an age. It's just to explain, as I said, he was my dad's best man, my dad's best friend. I grew up on his place. That's why I have the knowledge and passion for Bristol motor cars that I do. I was probably conceived in one. I've never asked that question. I was certainly nearly born in one when my mother and father, and my mother was very heavily pregnant, were trapped in Snowdonia by snow in a Bristol 40, I think it was a 404, but they managed to get to a hospital. I was certainly brought home from hospital in a Bristol. I think that was a 401. And I can honestly say that the first car I ever drove was a Bristol. And yeah, Brian was a fascinating man. If the television programs about him are still out there, do watch them. There was one program, and I can't remember what it's called, but it covered the story of one particular Bristol car, but then it also covered Brian, because he was pivotal to the car in him and Doc Richard. But it also covered Brian's life. The fact that he was a naval officer and a professional boxer and then a professional vocalist. And I mean, oh God, I've got stories I can tell you about Bristol Brian. Some of you that I've met in person, I've told some of the stories about. I honestly can't tell them on YouTube. I honestly can't. Or actually, maybe I can now that he's dead, because he couldn't be prosecuted. But no, I can't. I daren't. But if you ever meet me in person, I will tell you all of the stories about Bristol Brian. And yeah, as I mentioned, as an adult, when I had my dealership and auction house, I did deal with him professionally as well. I bought cars from him, sold cars to him, but he was just lovely. He and Jean were lovely, and Fee, his daughter, and Jason. He had a son called Jason, my name. And they were all just the loveliest of people. Massive part of my childhood and a massive part of my life, full stop. And again, my fault. I should have kept in touch after Mum's funeral. But very sad news that he's passed away. Let's catch up with some comments, shall we? Excuse me. Oh, we're all saying goodnight to Simon. That's nice. I miss Nigel, says Mustard. I'm sure you do. There must be some separation anxiety. For those who have just joined the live stream, these are Project Nigel's keys. I am in my cottage in the Peak District National Park, and Project Nigel is just about 5 feet in that direction. Well, actually, maybe a bit more. The walls are about 5 feet thick. But yeah, he's in pole position just outside the door of the cottage. Oh, and I did indeed, Joseph. You have converted me, sir. Now, very early on in the live stream, I started this live stream at 10 o'clock. And I did not open the wine until 11 o'clock. So, at 10 o'clock, when I was accused of drinking wine, which of course I wasn't, I was extolling the virtues of this water that you kindly gave me. And you have converted me, sir. I am a very big fan of this water. And I will be purchasing more of it. I've never tried flavoured water before. It's not something I would likely have considered trying, but it will be a regular thing from now on. So thank you again for that, and it got me home safely. Your beautiful car, by the way, is absolutely fine. And I hope you're not missing it too much. Now, where did I get? Oh yes, mustard, Mrs. Nigel. Oh yeah, the apple water. Thank you, Joe. Sir, says Joseph, I am scared about being on any hit list. I've done nothing but scare you, have I? There was the Drainpipe of Dreams where I threatened to hold you in a manly embrace, and then I shamelessly accosted you at Matt's do at the Motorist and dragged you into our midst for a photo opportunity, you poor chap. And now I've told you that you're on a hit list. It's do rest assured that I am completely harmless, if perhaps a little eccentric. And perhaps I should wish list. I will replace the word hit list with wish list. And you are in the top 3 on my wish list of people to do collaborative work with. And I did add on as an honorary extra Dan's Bangers, because I remain obsessed with Dan's bangers. And funnily enough, I was looking at his videos today to try and see if he'd done an update on on the Rover, or to even find out if he still owns his 45 V6. And the last video I could find that mentioned it said that it was parked up on a friend's drive, and his inclination was to simply leave it there and continue owning it. And there's been no update other than that since. So I think we can assume that one of the increasingly few Rover 45 V6s is sitting on a random driveway in Welsh Wales, by which of course I do mean South Wales. South Wales is Welsh Wales. And the North Walians are GOGs, as we call them, which is an abbreviation of the Welsh word Gogledd, which means north in Welsh. Where did I get to? Oh, Ben, you'll get me into trouble. Night, night, smothered parsnips. I've already been told off for not using the correct channel name. Don't you start as well. James Martin is an extremely busy chap. Well, yeah, I'm sure that he is, but he tells me to remind him that we need to sort something out, because he is an extremely busy chap. But I seem to be quite busy of late, and I never get around to reminding him. And then I message him and say that I forgot to remind you, and nothing has happened as yet, but I'm sure it will. These things happen when they're intended to. Gosh, I've gone over the witching hour. I do apologise for keeping you all up. Have you thought of buying Nigel back? Asked Cheeseburger. I'm off, says Ross. Got to do some work. Yeah, of course. Ross is one of our Antipodean chums, and he's about to start his day, or his work day anyway, so have a good day at work. Oh, Bad Book says Joseph. They're all bark and no bite, so no need to worry. So I am absolutely harmless. Matt says, too late there, Mustard. Nigel has probably been stripped for parts. It's rough around Derbyshire. Matt, you've spent time here, my dear friend. Nigel is perfectly safe. I will check. I will go outside and check on him. Excuse me. Hello, Nigel. Are you okay out there? You are? Jolly good. Are you warm enough? Lovely, lovely. Okay, well, if there's anything you need, you just shout. I'm only the other side of this door. There we are. I can report that Nigel is perfectly safe and perfectly happy, and he hasn't been remotely stripped for parts. I never realised, says Cheeseburger, that an early Bristol was mainly a BMW. Loved the aluminium as well. It was, yeah. Yes, it was. That was the that were the beginnings. That were the beginnings. Bristol were not afraid to borrow, and it was the BMW. Oh God, 501. I think. Have I got that right? Somebody will know. Yeah, but Bristol were never afraid to borrow. I've got a few stories about Bristols. I can't remember which I've told you and which I haven't. Now, obviously, Bristol, along with Jensen, used the Chrysler 6.3 litre power plant, the 6.3 V8. Jensen, when they went into the American market for the S2 Interceptor, took that out to 7.2 because it became strangled by American emissions. So they enlarged the engine to try and get the power back up. The difference between Jensen and Bristol is this: Jensen simply slotted the lump into the car. End of. Whereas Bristol majorly reworked the engine before they used it, and memorably in the Beaufighter added a bloody great big turbocharger. And I've owned a Bristol Beaufighter, and I can tell you that it is one hell of an experience. But Bristol, now I'm out of touch with Bristol these days, of course, but in my day Bristol was owned by Tony Crook, an ex-racing driver, and a very difficult man to deal with. Very difficult indeed. Now, for a magazine road test on the Beaufighter, he had a small dynamite charge attached to one of the wheels. And he was doing 100 miles an hour in the Beaufighter. He had the tyre exploded because it was running on what were then new technology run flats. So he had the tyre exploded to show that it was perfectly safe, and then he did a very high-speed slalom. I mean, the man was an absolute lunatic, but very, very difficult to deal with. Now, I dealt with Quentin Wilson from the original Top Gear. I sold him a Ford Thunderbird drophead that he was buying for or on behalf of the director. I'm not sure if it was Andy Willman at that point or if that was pre. Honestly, not sure. But yeah, I sold him this T-Bird. And we had a good old chat. I was very fond of Quentin. And as chance would have it, at that time, Top Gear had been trying to do an interview with Tony Crook on the subject of Bristol. And this would have been in 1995, in the kind of birth of the internet. And as you know, I was very quickly on the scene with the internet. In 1995, January of 1995, I set up the world's first online auction, 8 months before the site that went on to become eBay was formed. So I was really quickly on there, and being so passionate about Bristols, I wanted to get as much Bristol content on Internet Motor World, which was my website then, as possible. So I was also trying to deal with Tony Crook, and I had about as much success as Quentin and Top Gear did. And funnily enough, and pardon my language, the one thing that Quentin and I had in common was we told Mr. Crook to F off. Quentin stormed out to the Bristol showrooms, shouting at him, I won't tell you how to make motor cars, don't you tell me how to make a bleeping television programme. And that was the end of the Top Gear Bristol segment. And after spending ages and ages and ages of trying to deal with Tony to get permission to use a load of Bristol stuff on the website, and an interview with him, I similarly just got fed up of his general doings, and I similarly told him that he could go forth. Anyway, there we are. Probably with the wheel of this. Sir, says Joseph, Mr. Coleman and I will be doing a live stream on Wednesday. I will ask him about Bristols. Oh, please do. I will be most interested. Why don't you start your business up again, says Matt. I've kind of covered this before. I've had several opportunities to do so, and the bottom line is I don't want to. When I went to the funeral of the guy that was my sales manager, the GOAT, bless him, another legend in Birmingham, literally a legend, and people asked what I was doing, and I explained. Then I had multiple, because of course all my old contemporaries were there, and they were spread and still are spread all over the world. And I had offers of running this, offers of finance to set up that or to do the other, because of course they were there in the day when I built what I built. The honest answer to that, Matt, is I don't want to. I don't have the inclination. I'm not as ruthless as I was then. I'm a completely different person, and I have no ambition of that nature. We've spoken about this many times before, and I don't think you can truly turn your back on something unless you've experienced it. But I've been wealthy, I've been successful, I've had all of the trappings, and because I've had them and I know how happy they made me, I can genuinely tell you that I'm happier now, poor as I am. And I don't want to go back to being less happy than I currently am. And I'm not driven by money anymore, not by a long chalk. I don't care about money. I would like to be able to pay my bills. I would like to be able to keep my cars on the road, and I would like to be able to potentially add more cars. Other than that, I don't care. I don't care for money. I don't care for the general idea of being seen as being successful. I care much more about my own happiness. I cared about sleeping well at night, and I cared about enjoying life. And all of my efforts for some time now, outside of my own selfish interest in life, are helping other people. And that's why I still run the charity. It's why I'm doing all of the work for and with the Ukraine stuff that I can. It's why I try and build community wherever I can, because that's what means something to me these days, other people. And I'm not obsessed by money. I'm not ruthless enough anymore to be successful in business. And I was a bit of a bastard back then, and I don't want to be a bastard again. I quite like myself these days, and I wouldn't have liked the person that I was back then, to be completely honest. So that's why I don't do it, and I can't be asked. Bristol engine alone will cost big bucks to fix. It certainly will. Oh right, 7:30 BST on Wednesday with Mr. Coleman. That's going to be the Joseph's live stream. Excellent. The block on that one is toast. Shame the rest looks salvageable. We're talking about a barn find Bristol. Mr. Coleman knows his Bristols, does he? Right, I didn't know. Clearly, I'm not entirely au fait with Mr. Coleman and his various knowings. Perhaps I should be. The 45 V6 was a superb car, but the one which I've replaced it with is more suitable for my needs. Well, that was the question that I was going to ask you, Joseph, but I didn't know whether your new car was common knowledge or not yet, so I thought I wouldn't ask. But as you're apparently okay talking about it, then how are you doing with it? I would love to know. And I agree that it definitely is more suitable for your needs. Dan's Bangers does not upload very much. He really doesn't. It really doesn't. In addition to the car I got to replace the 45 V6, Mr. Coleman is working on the car I have bought to replace the Volvo 460 as well this week. Goodness me. Oh, right. Well, I need to catch up. And then we're talking about demolishing Longbridge. Now, I was in Longbridge for a reason that I can't recall. And I was amazed at how different it was. Now, my dealership was not a million miles from Longbridge. It was about 7 miles, something like that. So really quite close. And I was very familiar with Longbridge, of course. and I couldn't believe how different it was when last I was there. I was just passing through and I stopped and paused and had a look around. I can't remember where I was going or from where or to where, but I mean, it was just so different, so different. I mean, the last time I'd been in Longbridge, everything was still in situ, as it was in the MG Rover days. Now, one of the bizarre things about being so close to Longbridge, and arguably, one could say one of the reasons for Rover's downfall, there was a year where I imported Range Rovers from Gibraltar. Now, you bear in mind that Range Rovers were being built less than 10 miles away from where I was operating. And yet, I was able to import Range Rovers from Gibraltar, bring them in, do all of the necessary to register them, whatnot. I then LPG converted them and fitted them with sat-nav, and I could still put them out at way below UK list price. Now, isn't that bizarre? Now, I don't know whether that speaks to Land Rover or Rover, or to the British car industry, or the British government. But isn't it a ridiculous situation where I can buy a car from Gibraltar when it was made less than 10 miles away from where I am, and I can bring it from Gibraltar, have it shipped, put an LPG conversion on it, and fit sat-nav, and still put it out at well under UK list price? I mean, that's balmy. God, I'd forgotten about that. That was an interesting year, actually. Diddly-do. Yes, Dan's Bangers certainly doesn't upload very much. What time is Mustard leaving Windy Bum? Asked Matt. Mustard is not at Windy Bum. If you knew Mustard at all, you would know that he's a good family man, and he does not spend nights away from home. He would love to spend a night at Windy Bum. We would love to get drunk together. We have never been drunk together. We would love to have a proper drunken night and a proper drunken live stream, but it's not going to happen anytime soon because Captain Mustard is a loving husband and a doting father with a lovely wife, and she really is lovely. Mrs. Mustard is adorable, and two adorable children who some of you will have met at shows, the two girls. And he doesn't like to be away from them, so I can assure you, Nigel might be here, but I can assure you Captain Mustard is not. Yes, says Cheeseburger. Sea of houses and retail, token small industrial units, and pictures of Nash Metropolitan in local Madison's talking about Longbridge. Yeah, there was, oh, I couldn't believe it. It was almost unrecognisable. Only the railway station remained constant. 328, says Steve Dull. And I'm not sure what that's in relation to. Oh, the last of the conveyor is going as well. God, I remember that. It's a bit sad going to Pride of Longbridge each year and finding less of it still standing each time. Yeah. Bad Books has answered my earlier question. JM's Maserati is a Grand Sport coupe with a similar engine to a Ferrari, if I remember correctly. Okay, I'm not familiar with that one. My Maserati experience is limited. As I told you, I had a twin turbo Shamal, which was left hooker 91 on a J, came out of Oman, and long after the car went, I had the original Oman number plates on my wall because underneath the registration was fastest car in Oman. And I'm sure I've told you this story a million times before, but I'll tell you it again. I was using the Shamal as my daily car, and you know, arrogant sort of chap that I am, I thought that I got the hang of it and was driving it pretty well at most of its potential. And a friend of mine, Wayne Wainwright, came over from, he was living in the States. Now, Wayne is a racing driver and a very good one. And at that point, well, he still is. He lives in the States. He's an exceptionally rich man. Made a lot of money by racing motor cars, and then made even more money with the CorvetteStore.com, his business in the States. And he was en route to Paris, but he stopped off to say hello, as he always did, because he was originally a Birmingham lad. And he said, "What are you smoking at the moment?" And you know, in motor trade terms, your smoker is your daily car, your Arthur, as we are now calling it, your Arthur Daily, Arthur. And I said, "Oh, it's a twin turbo Shamal. Do you want to have a drive?" Big mistake saying that. He said, "Yeah, go on." So Wayne and I jumped into this Shamal, Wayne driving, and this is the truth. I've never been so scared in my entire life. And that is the difference between a racing driver, a genuinely good racing driver, and the rest of us, no matter how good we think we are. Because he'd never driven that car before. He's not going to know its limits, right? And we went out on a drive in that car, and he drove like I've never, honest to God, and I tease him about it to this day, I have genuinely never been so scared in my life. Now, he knows what he's doing. I'm sure that he was driving within both his own and the car's capabilities. But it was so terrifying to me that, you know, within 5 minutes of getting in the car, we're heading round the motorway island, the M42 junction 3, and he's sliding the car in a full-on tail-out slide in between other cars. And it's just absolute bloody madness. Oh God. And this is me. I'm used to driving and being driven in fast cars, but nothing like that. If you ever get the chance to drive on public roads with a really good racing driver, don't do it. That's all I can say. Don't do it. And genuinely, this is true. When we got back to the showrooms, parked up, I managed to get my seatbelt undone, and I got out of the car and I fell down. My legs were so shaky, I literally couldn't stand up. Absolutely terrifying. And that is the difference, you know. I thought that I was getting like 90% out of the car. And in fact, I was just an idiot who was getting 70% out of it, or even less than that. God, that was terrifying. But yeah, I'm not familiar with the model of Maserati that you mentioned. Tony Crook sounds like an extremely determined man. Well, that's one way of putting it. He was he was a legend. Was Tony Crook? He was a lot of people don't like the term old school, but he was an old school legend and an incredibly difficult man to deal with. Not just with the press or whatever, but with the general public as well. It was no easy task to go and buy a Bristol motor car. But he was like a force of nature. So as frustrating as it was, he was, you know, a true British eccentric and an absolute legend. Don't think that was on the original Top Gear. That started in 1977. Yeah, okay, it was William Woolard, wasn't it? And all of that. Okay, not the original one then. One of the older Top Gears. They don't sell the MGs at Longbridge now. The showroom has moved to Redditch. Good God, has it? St Modwen own the site. Leased to MG Rover, but MG have the option to release so much land each year, which they have been doing. That sounds like a bit of a mess concerning Tony Crook. That, my dear chap, is an understatement. That is an understatement. Whereas Quentin was lovely. Quentin was lovely. He took me to the Selly Sausage for a sausage sandwich and told me about the time that he swapped one packet of Benson and Hedges cigarettes for a Datsun 120Y, and he still maintained that he was ripped off and it should only have been a packet of 10. Tony Crook bought most of Bristol late 60s, 70s, says Cheeseburger. He was the biggest UK dealer at that time. He was kind of the only UK dealer, and he supplied the late break car. Well, he would have. And Joseph says there was just one Bristol showroom in the world, wasn't there? There was indeed. There was indeed. And that was Tony's, was it in Mayfair? Yeah, it was London based. Good Uncle Boaty. See, I'm looking after him. I am looking after him, Mustard. And yes, it was on Park Lane, sir, says Steve Dull. Oh, and Joseph says, yeah, it was on Kensington High Street, near Kensington Olympia Station. And, Cheeseburger's checking his diary for a get-together with Joe to show him Longridge. Good night, everyone, says Joseph. Mr. Coleman and I may see some of you on Wednesday at 7:30. Good night, sir. Thank you for popping by. Really appreciate it. And the cars that Joseph has bought recently will be revealed gradually over the last couple of weeks. Jolly good. I look forward to seeing that. Oh, and Joe says, good night, Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. Take care and keep up the great videos. I became a channel member today. Oh, well done, Joe. Good for you. You can let me know when Joseph puts the Very Vague vlog up with me on there. Or I should become a channel member myself, really, shouldn't I? I will have to go now, says Joseph, as what I'm writing no longer makes any sense. Have you imbibed a beverage or two, sir? Can't fault you. I'm well on the way myself, and I shall shortly be heading off. I planned to finish this 1 hour and 25 minutes ago, so the poor dears have endured more than they ought to. Longbridge has mostly gone, Boaty, says Cheeseburger. 2001, you could import anything in euros at 170 to the pound from Europe. I bought a new BMW and a new Celica for relative buttons. Matt is eating cheese, and Cheeseburger is drinking beer, and there's no cheese in the house. And I've kept you for too long, darlings, haven't I? We should really think about heading off to bed. And oh, bless you, Joe. That's really sweet of you. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, gosh, I really appreciate that. Thank you. I've really enjoyed tonight, darlings. I hope you have too. I don't think there's anything else to tell you. I think you're all up to speed. It's been great tonight, hasn't it? I really genuinely have enjoyed it. Thank you so much for giving me so much of your time. 2.5 hours of it, to be honest. God, I can rattle on, can't I? And now we should all... Title, Nigel needs a beige leather interior. That's not a bad one, I've screenshotted that. Okay, we should all get to bed, darlings. Remember the rules, please. Everybody is to have some form of clothing on top and bottom. There is no nudity allowed in the community bed. So, minimum pyjamas or underpants and vest or t-shirt, right? I don't want any skin-to-skin contact tonight. There is no eating or drinking in the community bed. Please remember that. And whoever is last into bed, it is your job to put the light out, okay? And obviously, everybody squidge up. There's quite a few of us. And no hogging the covers. And no farting. Mustard, that's directed at you. Oh, God. I always watch Naked, says Matt. That's two of you. You and Tracy. Oh, my God. Night Owl says bad books. And don't accidentally podger Nigel. I think Nigel is safe. I'll finish the daily diary by saying goodnight to Nigel. And now what I'm saying isn't making much sense at all. The wine is well and truly kicking in. What a great live, says Frank. I think this has been a fantastic live, says Joe. I've really enjoyed it as well. It's been brilliant. Good night all, says Cheeseburger. You was just as scared driving with me and Eric. I was actually. I actually was. I'd forgotten about that. Oh dear. Good night to Nigel from my Yaris named Billy. Oh, that's a nice name. And that's Billy, B-I-L-L-I-E. Is that how Billy Piper spells hers? But, right, okay, let's sort out what I need to play you out. Excuse me. It's been a great day and a lovely evening. Thank you all so much. And now it is time to play you out with some pleasant musical farting. Which isn't working. Why is it not working? It's because the volume's down. That's why it's not working. Oh God, no, it's not connected to the doings. Bloody hell. Oh, it's because my phone has restarted. The operating system has updated. Bear with. Here we go. Here we go. I think. There we go. Oh, thank you, Joe. And that is it for tonight, darlings. My goodness me, 2 hours and 35 minutes. I've loved every second of it. Thank you so much. And have a safe and peaceful night. Thank you again. Sleep tight. Have the best day that you can tomorrow. Take incredible care of yourselves. Much love to you all. And hey, I'll see you tomorrow night, 11 o'clock, here at Windy Bum. Be there or don't be. And I'm off to say good night to Nigel. All right, darlings, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks again. Bye-bye.